Welcome to the 6:30 March 9th, 2021 Titusville City Council meeting. We do have a quorum, so I'll call this meeting to order. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? And the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. City Clerk, would you read the rules to speak?
Yes, sir. Individuals wishing to speak on public and non-public hearing agenda items must complete a sign-up card and present it to the clerk prior to the item being introduced. Those wishing to speak on quasi-judicial public hearings must complete a sign-up card and sign the oath. Sign-up and oath cards are available on the table in the council chamber. Individuals wishing to speak on non-agenda items may do so under petitions from the public present. This opportunity is offered twice in the meeting, and individuals may speak at either the first or second petitions, but not both. No sign-up card is required. Citizens shall not comment on any issue more than once during the meeting. All comments except petitions and requests must address the pending issue, and citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak on all items. Citizens wishing to speak on the consent agenda must submit a comment card identifying the items of interest. Speakers shall be given 3 minutes per item. However, citizens wishing to speak on more than 3 consent agenda items shall be limited to speaking for a total of 10 minutes regardless of the number of items identified.
Thank you very much. Council, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 12th and February 27th?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Robinson?
Yes.
Member Jordan?
Yes.
Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Minutes pass unanimously. City Manager?
Yes, sir. We have no items, special recognition or presentations. On to boards and commissions. Item 6A is the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate Semi-Annual Report is included in your agenda packet. No action is required on this report.
Thank you.
Second, we have the North Brevard Hospital District Board Semi-Annual Report to be presented by Mr. Herman Cole, Colonel, retired United States Air Force. No action is required.
Mr. Cole, good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Colonel Luis, retired Colonel, United States Army. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Diesel and members of City Council. I am Herman Cole, immediate past chairman and member at large of the Parish Medical Center Board of Directors. It is my honor tonight to present PMC's semi-annual report. A written report has been provided that summarizes the activities and the outcomes achieved by PMC since our last report. Since our last report, the Parish Medical Center Board of Directors held its annual election of officers in our January meeting. I voluntarily stepped down as chairman of the board, a position I proudly held for 8 years, and continue my board service as a member at large. It was my honor to serve as board chair. However, it was time to allow new leadership, and that new leadership was, although it was older than me, I allowed it to happen. The election results are as follows. Chairman of the board, Councilman Robert Jordan, has served as a member of our board of directors since 1998.
Wow.
Most recently serving as our vice chairman. Our vice chairman is Stan Retz, treasurer Peggy Crooks, secretary Dr. Elizabeth Galfor, and I was elected as a member at large. In addition to our board officers, the 9-member board of directors include Ms. Billy Fitzgerald, Ms. Maureen Roop, Mr. Jerry Knopfel, and Dr. Shaw. Congratulations to Mr. Jordan and all of our board members. And again, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and acknowledge the courage and timeless dedication to duty of our city's first responders and all essential workers. Mayor Diesel, We are humbled and very appreciative of the recent proclamation that you issued making February 1st, 2001 Parish Medical Center Heroes Work Here Day. On behalf of the entire Parish Medical Center Board of Directors, we can't say it enough times, but thank you to our PMC heroes and to healthcare heroes everywhere. On the screen, you'll see some of the photos of our healthcare heroes at work. We have surpassed the one-year milestone of responding to the COVID-19 public health crisis. During this time, PMC activated its COVID-19 Incident Command Center in January of 2020, and that remains active. Weekly calls, we make weekly calls to the state and federal health officials. That continues. COVID testing continues, and COVID vaccinations being administered in accordance with state and federal directives and as supplies are made available. We are looking forward with optimism as vaccine distribution and administration continues to ramp up that we are nearing the light at the end of this very, very long and dark tunnel. Moving from COVID to other parish medical center updates, January 6th of this year, Parish Healthcare welcomed the Joint Commission for our triennial accreditation survey. Our survey concluded on January 8th with no conditional findings. PMC was the first to be surveyed by the Joint Commission using their COVID-19 virtual survey system, which was approved by CMS. The survey said that our results were excellent. They were impressed with our focus on quality, on safety, infection prevention, and data management. Every 3 years, PMC voluntarily invites the Joint Commission to survey our processes and procedures as part of our commitment to continuous quality improvement and exceptional outcomes attributable to a high level of engagement in the process by our board of directors, our medical staff leadership, and every parish healthcare partner. February was National Heart Month, and during that time, Parish highlighted its cardiovascular program in the media and through advertising. PMC's cardiovascular program features a number of leading-edge technologies and treatment techniques. PMC was one of the first hospitals in the state of Florida to offer Micro AV, which is the world's smallest pacemaker. The new device extends the most advanced pacing technology at 1/10 the size of a traditional pacemaker to more patients than we have ever been able to offer it before. PMC's interventional cardiologist, Dr. Renee Sellis, was featured on WFTV Channel 9's Daily 2 segment talking about the mini pacemaker and was also featured in an article in Florida Today. We are truly proud of our medical achievements coming from our cardiovascular team at Parish. We also continue to recruit new providers to the community, from family practice medicine to gastroenterology to OBGYN and other specialists. They have been joining our parish medical group or our parish medical staff. On the screen, you will see the full list of 29 new providers we welcomed to our community. As always, your parish medical center is unwavering in its commitment to serving the health and wellness needs of our community. This concludes my report, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
I'm going to take the prerogative of starting off by saying some of the things I say and some I'm not going to repeat. But you are a great member of the Titusville family. Parish is one of the, certainly a heart and soul of who we are. And I always talk about things people don't talk about the most, and that would be things like Breakfast with Santa, the lighting of the Christmas tree. Those are big community events. And we didn't get to have them this year, and I sure hope we get to have them next year. But you are such a part of the Titusville family. And when we talk about, again, I'm going to talk a little athletics, imagine that. But
I played in the band.
You're this still fits. You're what we would call an impact player. You're the hospital member Jordan, certainly Mr. McIterian, your whole team. And I imagine there's been an awful lot of meetings around the round tables at 6 feet apart with masks on over the last year, working on what can we do, how do we do, the preparation, the preparedness the parish had, in my eyes, was amazing. You guided us, you led us, you cared for us, and you were there for us. And I can tell you that that means a lot to me. And no proclamation can put into words what you all did. And maybe the most important thing is, if something like this, God forbid, ever happened again, you'd do it again. You'd be there again. So I can't say enough how much I personally thank you, and I certainly speak for the council that we thank you, and I'm just honored to be able to say these things to you, so I appreciate it. I'm going to move over to Member Robinson.
As a friend for 20 plus years, Herman, you know how I feel about you as far as a retired Air Force officer and serving this country. And after you retired, you began to serve the community. And I thank you for that, because that's what it's about, is giving. And you've had a giving heart. You have had a serving heart. And thank you for all that you have done. And the work at Parish will continue on under the leadership of Robert. But thank you. And you're still one of the heroes that helped pave the way for me in my military career as well.
Thank you. Let me just say something on what Mayor Diesel said. A lot of the credit to the things that we have done and are doing at Parish Medical Center can be attributed to George McIterian. I can remember being in a medical executive committee meeting in January of 2020 when we just started hearing about COVID-19. And he prepared the medical staff for this by saying, how many intensive care units do we have? And we were, with his leadership, we were proactive and getting ahead of this thing. So once it actually hit the ground and started running, we, Parish Medical Center, was ready. And I say we were because of our CEO, George McIterian.
And I would say, I made sure I got him in there. If he was sitting here, I'd go out and give him a hug. No, wouldn't that be illegal? But
you don't have to give me a hug.
You run. But with that said, I'll be honest with you, this is where we always say thank you, but that doesn't seem like enough. So at the very least, if there's anything else anybody else wants to say, and if you're done, I'm going to maybe be a lone ranger here, but I'm going to say thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Beyond words.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the support of the city that we receive.
Thank you for being our anchor.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate that. City Manager.
On to item 6C, which is the Board of Adjustment of Appeals. The Board of Adjustment of Appeals semi-annual report is included in your agenda packet with no action required.
Thank you very much. We move on to agenda item 7, petitions and requests from the public. Go ahead, come on up. Take 2. I don't know if I still have his hand out.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, I'm Jim Ford, and I'm presently working with Watson Commercial Real Estate in Merritt Island, and we are representing the owner of a property. If you'll remember, I passed this out a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
What I want to talk to you about is the one there that's noted as parcel 750. It's the one on the right side, and it's at the corner of Singleton and Parish Road, and it's 35 acres in size, and it was divided, where you see the red line down the middle, was divided like that about 13 years ago, at which time the city had a lot split requirement in its zoning ordinance. And these people, or the owner of this entire property, was supposed to obtain approval for that lot split 13 years ago. That apparently never happened. In the meantime, we have two different owners now of each parcel and have had for some time. Both individuals are paying taxes on the property for all this time. And I was advised to proceed with a lot split approval. But the only thing, I was proceeding along the lines of getting the split approved with reference to parcel 750, which is the only one that I'm involved with. There's a different owner on parcel 751. So I can't, now the city staff says they want 751 included with 750. So that's trying to unscramble an egg, at this point. The owner of parcel 751 actually wants to buy parcel 750. And he's not interested so far in paying the asking price. So I can't really have any dealings with him in this regard. So I think what I'm trying to say is that the lot split provision just doesn't work with a situation like this, where you've got 70 acres of land and you're going to divide it into two pieces. I don't think it serves any valid purpose. Anybody that's going to come in here and develop each one of these, or both together, is going to have to go through the subdivision planning process anyway and take care of all those concerns that are listed as part of the approval for the lot split approval. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, at this point, I would like to have you look into the advisability of staff amending the code to allow for this kind of situation, because there's nothing else that can be done short of that.
Staff, I guess that'd be you, Ms. Busaka. You can't just sit back there and pretend that you're not coming up here. She put her head down, put her mask on.
For trying.
Yeah, you did that. You did credit. I guess I'm looking for a little clarity, and I'm looking for what our next step is. Is there a step?
Well, what the staff can do, if you provide us advisability, we would be happy to review the lot split provisions of the code and come back to you with a report. What Mr. Ford would like to see is that a minimum lot size, perhaps 50 acres, a relatively large lot, would not have to go through the lot split provisions. But we would be happy to provide you with a report, and you can tell us how to go forward from there.
Yeah, I think just the ground basis, what's going on here. Have you guys talked about this at all?
Oh, I've had plenty of conversations with
Okay.
staff.
Well, so then you guys are on the track already. So I would love advisability sent back to us. Council? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Okay, question? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Member Stokel.
Could you just explain what a lot split means? Because I think this is the first time I've had this issue, and then how this piece of property is currently zoned.
That's crazy.
The property is currently zoned residential.
Okay.
And what the lot split provision says is that if you were going to subdivide one lot into two lots, you have to come through the city and I believe it's to ensure that the lots are buildable and meet the code, so that one person doesn't end up with an unbuildable lot from this lot split provision. But
Okay.
I've done a little research, and it's not as clear as it could be in the code exactly why the lot split provision exists, but we may be able to get more research and provide you a better answer.
Okay, so how it currently stands, I guess, for you is you're not able to do what you're wanting to do with this
Well,
property?
I can't market this parcel 750 to a buyer because it would be misrepresenting it unless I told him, yeah, I can sell it to you, but you can't do anything with it because it's illegal because it didn't follow the lot split requirement 13 years ago.
So there's nothing that the owner could do with this piece of property at this current time?
Right now, the city does not recognize the 35-acre parcel.
Okay.
It recognizes the 70-acre parcel. It was annexed in as one parcel, and the rezoning actually has a condition that limits the total number of units over the entire 70 acres. So even once the lot split issue is resolved, there's still going to be the density issue to come up. But we have a plan for how to resolve
Is that a normal thing to happen? I've just never seen this before.
Is what a normal thing, lot splits?
I guess when whoever purchased this property, did they go into it together?
No, it was one owner,
Okay,
and then subsequent to the annexation and rezoning, the owner sold off a portion of it.
okay, gotcha.
But they didn't go through the formal
Okay,
review by the city.
all right, thank you for explaining that.
I agree, Member Stokel. That's a very different kind of thing. Member Jordan?
Thanks. Are you a past property appraiser?
Oh, no.
not
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, I know that Jim Ford for sure. That actually, Member Stoker actually asked the question. I was a little confused by this whole thing and still confused by the fact that you got two owners on a piece of property that was split, but you can't do anything with it, which is really weird to me.
But
So
it's been taxed for 13 years.
it's been taxed.
Yeah, and the
with
city's
split.
been receiving property taxes off of each one of these.
Well,
It's just something that never was caught or, nobody came in to try to use it all that time.
you're right.
It looks like it would kind of slip through the cracks, and this isn't something anybody really would say was a good idea.
Before I answer that question, what's the good idea or bad idea?
The fact that, like he just said, this is what happened 13 years ago? And
Yes,
for
it was-
13 years, we weren't aware of this, or?
No,
didn't-
sir, we wouldn't know.
And that's the slip through the cracks part.
But, well, if they don't come to us and they just go to the property
Oh,
appraiser.
I don't say
and
that in a
sell
negative or
property-
accusatory
right.
way. I simply
No.
say that this is something that we're glad we can see it now because perhaps it needs a remedy.
The city is not aware of it because they don't come to us for any reason.
Very good. Vice Mayor?
So curiosity, can it be handled administratively?
It is an administrative process.
Okay.
And there is a list of requirements in the code. And one of the requirements that's been longstanding is that, remembering that the code was intended for this to be proactive, not a
Yes.
retroactive process, that the property owner would request it. Well, under the city's process, we're looking at a 70-acre parcel. And unfortunately, now we have two property owners. Now, sometimes this happens and we say to the property owners, you each need to sign, and that works out pretty smoothly and we move on with the process.
Okay.
In this case, apparently, that has not worked out as smoothly as it does sometimes.
Okay, got it.
All right, very good. So we have advisement, we go from there. Okay, thank you, sir. I
Thank you,
appreciate you
appreciate it.
bringing that to us, and that's our interesting moment of the night, I'm sure. City Manager?
I think you're still on petitions and requests,
Oh,
sir.
that's right. We still have some people out there. Dang, petitions and requests. Clean up.
Okay, I have a handout, it's the same handout I gave you last time, so I'm not
So
going
we're
to pass
good.
it out again, but I did give it to city clerk.
Are you good?
Good.
All right, start.
Okay, Stan Johnson, 860 Poinsett Avenue. I'm going to pass this out. I don't know if I'm allowed to pass this around. There's a picture of two fellows who are dead now, and maybe I don't shouldn't have, but anyhow, they're dead. They were my sons, and they were been on a path of self-destruction for a long time, and by golly, they never changed their ways. And that's what's happening right now with you guys. You're on a path of self-destruction, and you should realize it. Wake up. I'm talking also over here about these two fellows over here. And the city is on the same path of self-destruction. I see that it is similar to what Lance Armstrong did. He had a group of fellows, bicyclists and so forth, and for over 7 years or so, they continued to win trophies and so forth, and they did it all illegally and so forth, and it ended up, they were lying all along. And that's what's happening with the city of Titusville. They're lying all along. Dishonesty. So I've caught you. You've been caught, but you continue to deny it. And I've given you a handout that's showing the issue of fraud. It continues for 2 years now. I'm excluding Mr. Robinson. And you're continuing doing it. Fraud, slander, and so forth. Well, you don't care, but you've been caught. So you can stick it in your resume and other places. So the other handout I had is a calculation sheet. Calculation sheet shows the city of Titusville has really done bad things. Shows flooding of 27 acres of property by this dam. That's just one of many. This is the dam, same dam that is just downstream of Carroll Avenue. And none of that is I have these pictures over here. It shows the pumps on top of the dam. Shows no compensatory storage. This is not stupidity. I don't say this is gross stupidity. This is super stupidity on your part. I mean, you have to be a superpower, something to go along with this kind of nonsense. So what I have in front of me right now is what I'm saying. This is super stupidity on your part. It's not forgivable. It's not responsible. And you need to tell the truth. Tell the truth is these things are not right. Mr. Stauffer has been dishonest with you on so many things, and so has these other two fellows over here on your right hand. And you need to straighten up. And you're on a path of self-destruction, just like my two sons. And it's going to happen. Just like I told you about this time bomb. These unmaintained floodways, they're a time bomb. What's going to happen sometime is we're going to have the big storm. It's going to be your fault. What happens? We haven't had a big storm. I'm asking for 2 more minutes.
I see none, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Petitions and requests continued. Is this where you're going to talk? You just want to talk. You can come on. You got 3 minutes. I have no idea what he's going to say. I just know that he mentioned to me, and so I think this is where you belong. We'll find out.
Well, good evening.
Name and address, please.
Michael Cador. I am a citizen of Rockledge, but born and raised at 1670 Craig Avenue in Titusville. And I'm just here briefly. Thank you again, Your Honor, for being able to allow me to be able to speak this
Coach
evening.
will work.
But but I just wanted to come in and just to state as being someone born and raised here in the city of Titusville, and now being a city councilman in the city of Rockledge, I wanted to come in and say thank you. Not only thank you publicly, but to have members who are sitting on this council that I know professionally and personally. Those who I work with, Councilman Stokel, Mr. Lynn, who I work with in the county for several years, and thank you. Mayor Diesel, you being a coach, a mentor, and friend, down to Mr. Jordan, who has mentored over the many years, and even on down to several boards with Chairman and Councilman Mr. Robinson. Thank you so much for what you do for our city. I did have no agenda, nothing other than to say, but thank you from the city of Rockledge, and thank you for serving in a city that I grew up in. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm not surprised the quality of words that you have. I became a coach at Titusville High School in 1983. Mr. Cador was the outstanding slot wide receiver, and anything else we could put him at running back, play quarterback a little bit too, DB. But he was a leader. He was a leader with quality. And being a first-year coach, Coach Warnicki on more than one occasion would give me the last period football weight training class, and that's not a class a rookie teacher wants to go into. And Mr. Cador was a guy who kept it straight, and you've been doing that ever since. And I will tell you that it's just my honor to have had a small part in coaching you and to have a big part in watching your career. And it's really nice to have somebody of your quality say the quality things that you did, and you're a guy that's going to tell it like it is, or you're not going to say it. And to say that about this entire council, because you may on occasion hear that not everybody's going to say those kind of things to us. So I personally appreciate that, and I am honored to be called a mentor of yours, because I can tell you, you've kind of mentored me in a lot of ways. When I hear you talk and when I see your passion for people, I see your passion for making a difference, and with kids, you mentored me too. So I am honored to be your friend, Member Jordan.
I, of course, had to say something because, normally we don't have people come up and thank us for anything, but I've watched you for many, many years. My style has always been just to watch, because people will talk, say all kinds of things, but not have much action. But I'm reminded of a scripture verse that says that he shall be a tree planted by the rivers of water, bringing forth his fruit in his season. And you, sir, are one of these guys that everybody should look up to because you have done and consistently have been a good person, a good human being, a family man, an example of who we all should aspire to. And I respect you even more just for you just to come up and say those kind words, because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to wait, but you decided you wanted to do that. So that shows your heart. And so I appreciate your heart. And thank you so much for those kind words.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Robinson.
And yes, Mike, we have worked together, and I have seen you touch the heart and the life of a lot of young folks. And I like the fact that you are sincere. It comes from your heart. We have a lot of pretenders in the world, and a lot of pretenders are out there. Their mouths say one thing and their heart is something else. And watching you over these years, I know it comes from your heart. And you deserve a great thanks for what the lives you have made a difference in. And thank you for just being here and all that you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Stokel.
I have to say something.
Be nice.
You better.
I know, I'll try to be nice. No, I want to say I'm surprised you sat here and waited as long as you did just to say that, but I'm not surprised because I think that's a testament to who you are. I know just a small portion of your crazy busy schedule, and the way that you show up and make time and make people feel valued really is evident to the type of person you are, and I'm just very grateful to call you a friend and a mentor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Council. Appreciate it.
Vice Mayor.
I couldn't resist. It's been nice seeing you grow up and become an outstanding young man. I can say that, can I?
Absolutely.
From us old people up here?
No.
Well, except for one. But it's been good watching you.
Thank you so much. I
So
appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you, Council. Thank you so much.
With that, I think we all say thank you. We appreciate that more than you know. And it's nice to be able to work with people like you down in Rockledge. And you're just a quality guy.
Thank you.
Your mama did well and your brother did well too.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if y'all know this, Jeff Davis is his brother. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say that, but no, I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know if you wanted me to say that.
No, you can say that.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate
All right, love
it.
you, brother.
God bless you all. Keep up the great work.
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you. Anybody else for petitions and requests? We're running out of people, so City Manager.
On to consent agenda. Council, are there any items that a council member would like to pull? City Clerk, are there any cards?
We have one card for all items.
Okay. With your permission, sir, I'll read the consent agenda item for the record.
Thank you.
Consent agenda item 8A, approve the Titusville Student Advisory Council scholarship policy expenditure not to exceed $2,000 and direct staff to forward the spending distribution forms to the city manager and finance department for preparation of 2 individual scholarship checks as prescribed by the policy. Pending this request, the scholarships will be awarded at the regular city council meeting on April 27th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Consent agenda item 8B, approve a budget amendment in the amount of $26,800 to fund the following capital outlay accessories and facility improvements associated with the purchase of the inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometer for the laboratory services for $5,310.79 to Boggs Gases of Titusville, Florida, to supply argon gas manifold and control equipment. $9,420 to Altman's Cooling and Heating of Titusville, Florida, to supply and install a ventilation system, including roof penetrations. And $2,619 to Fisher Scientific Waltman of Mass to supply a laboratory bench to hold the mass spectrometer. Also authorize the city manager to execute the purchase of the accessories and necessary services for the proper installation of the operation of the mass spectrometer. Consent agenda item 8C, award the bid to the Fire Tech Incorporated of Margate, Florida for the purchase of fire department rescue belts and accessories in the amount of $23,023.40 and approve a budget amendment to transfer $5,228 from the fire department operating budget to the project. Authorize the city manager to execute the steps necessary to complete the acquisition. Consent agenda item 8D, authorize the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement with Space Florida, providing for site and building plan review inspection services for spaceport territorial projects, subject to final review and revision by the city attorney. Should substantive changes be required, the interlocal agreement will be returned to city council for further consideration. And we have provided you an update of that interlocal agreement. It's hard copy on the dais now. And consent agenda item 8E, acknowledge the receipt of the FY 2020 Community Redevelopment Agency Annual Report as recommended by the CRA, with financial audit information to be added to the report once it's complete.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Council, any comments on any of those? With that, please call the card.
Stan Johnston.
Stan Johnson, 860 Poinsett Avenue. I'm speaking also as a registered professional engineer, as I have been as I have at the Petitions and Requests. Now, on these 5 agenda items, I've sent some cards. Now, on item number, I should go over briefly first. On item 8A, I'm looking at approval of that. On item 7, on item 8C about the purchase of fire department rescue belts, I have no problems with that, no opposition to that. But on items 8B, 8D, and 8E, I'm asking for tabling, or in the case of 8B, it's, I'm asking for tabling of that one, and 8D, either oppose it or table it, and 8E is, well, I'll speak about that. It's either neutral or table it. So let me go over, first of all, a disappointing thing which I'm reading regarding this mass spectrometer. It's a testing device, and I've worked a little bit with the mass spectrometer, and it's used for. I expect it'll be used for testing water and so forth, and it's a high-tech instrument. I'm sure it's more high-tech than when I used it close to 50 years ago. Now. The problem is, I want to give an example of a problem we have, is that right now we've been testing the water in the ponds and the river and so forth, the lab tests, and those lab reports were said they were going to be in the on our website. Well, they stopped them. I'm not sure when they stopped them, sometime in January or something like that, and there were still some hot spots. They stopped them, but they kept testing, and they didn't report it. So what the heck is an order? Why do we have it? In other words, what I tried to do is I contacted the phone number on the signs. In fact, I contacted for Water Resources. I contacted them and back in December 22nd. It's even on my sign that I have signed and sealed. And the city Water Resources Department, although I've contacted them, called many times, Mr. Stoffer's never returned my call. He's never had his assistant manager return my call. I even went to the Water Resources. I'm talking about using of equipment. And so right now, Mr. Stoffer's asking for this, who I find to be highly dishonest in many occasions that I've talked with him. So anyhow, so I go to his building. I went to his building twice. He still never returned my calls. Sent him emails, never returned emails. So it's a matter of blacklisting, which might even be illegal. But why do we give people, for example, we give them phones, doesn't use it. Give them testing equipment and people to manage them. I can't contact them. I tried contacting them several times, left messages. Nobody returns my call. But the testing people too. I don't think it's a coincidence. So I even asked the city attorney, why don't you come out and take a look? We got sewage going into the Indian River. Come take a look at it. Didn't do it. So we had a second spill that's never been reported by the city. I caught it, and it was caught by Mr. Thomas, Mr. Scott Devine, 2 police officers, and so forth. We saw it, watched it. Sewage was going from Sandpoint Park into Spaceview Park with a fountain on. So in other words, why do we have all this equipment, telephones and stuff like that, if we don't use them? Is this ever going to be used, this mass spectrometer? Or is it just going to be misused like what we have right now? The telephones, emails, and so forth, they're all misused. I'm talking about water resources right now. I'm talking about Mr. Larice also, who has never returned my phone calls for at least phone calls and emails for at least the last, since about, I don't know, October of 2014, soon after he was hired. And then what did he do? He tried to get me evicted from the council chambers. So anyhow, we have problems here. And I gave you these, especially I gave you the sheet that has the, I'm going to go on to the next one. Let's go on to the next one. That's called 8D, Interlocal Agreement with Space Florida providing for site and building plan review and inspection services. This has got to be crazy. I mean, I'm looking at the handout that I gave you it shows that the city of Titusville, they built a dam designed to flood private property, doesn't tell the people. They're going ahead and construct it. And not only that, it raised the water table. And the pictures show, what we're doing is we're destroying the pavement, Carroll Avenue, and Rebecca Street. We're still doing it. We raised the water table. In other words, if we're going to review plans, we can't review our own plans. Right now, we've got $1 million dam. $1 million dam site, and what did we do? It was never checked for compensatory storage, and my goodness, you know what? It doesn't show what the dam floods upstream. Unbelievable. So this is complete nonsense the city is working with, and we never contacted FEMA. We still have the same situation with Parkland Estates. Flooding of private property. No compensatory storage, erroneous flood zone for the last 35 years. And so what are we going to do? We're going to offer this ridiculous services we can't even handle. We're not doing it right. We need to have some changes. There's no truth here. So I'm very much for tabling this item, and I oppose what's going on as far as us showing that we can do it, because right now today we don't have truth. And I told you just a few minutes ago is we've got a time bomb. We have a time bomb. It's absolutely nonsense to have unmaintained floodways. It's against God's law, man's law, all common sense. That's all I can say is that I don't know there's any brains within these two guys over here. How can you do that? It violates all of our laws, all our rules, all common sense. We're talking about mass stupidity, super stupidity. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're moving on. So especially on this item D, I'll say, hey, let's not go into that. And then the Community Redevelopment Agency annual report. It says that the stormwater plan is cost prohibitive to do that. And I spoke with that last meeting, and I was wrong. It didn't cover the sewage spills, but it does cover the what I talked about the parking area. But on these two items, the interlocal agreement and the mass spectrometer, these pictures, photos and exhibits, affidavits and documents that I show you that the city of Titusville is really stump stupid in what we're doing. Because we're certainly not obeying the laws. We're breaking all these laws. And it seems like it's what I want to say is as far as Mr. Broom is concerned, it's malfeasance of office. I mean, you don't have a professional engineer to dispute any of this stuff that I'm telling you right now. You don't have a professional engineer that will dispute these photos, exhibits, affidavits, and so forth like that. Nobody will come do it. You know they won't, and that's why you don't have a professional engineer involved. So how can the city of Titusville operate without someone who is licensed to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public that is not doing that, that is not providing a written opposition to what I present to you? You don't, and you can't, because it will show how guilty you are and how such nonsense the city of Titusville is living with. It's horrible. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how much time I got. I can't read it. Oh my golly. I was going to ask for 2 more minutes. I don't know if I can have that.
I don't see any, but thank you for
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
going up and down.
You seem to be listening well this time. Thank you. God bless you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I've got to say something, though. You know, you sit here and you listen for 10 minutes to what I believe is total garbage, and it tends to waste a lot of council's time. We have to respect the public, I will tell you. I'll be the first one. But we're hearing the same thing over and over and over again, and he wants respect, but he's not respecting us. And the stuff that he's saying about staff and everything, I'm going to tell you now, I disagree totally with everything he's saying. We have consummate professionals here. I think this council does a great job of doing the right thing. His talking about the attorney with malfeasance, I don't get it. I would wish that whatever he's looking for, he finds it. But there's ways for you to get what you want without calling names and trying to make people or trying to embarrass people to get what you want. It makes no sense at all. So the only thing I can say is I'm going to pray for him and hope something happens for sure.
With that said, you know I agree. He knows I agree. I've had that talk. Been very transparent with him and anybody else who will ask. But I would also say that working hard on getting him as close to task as we can, and so I'm really following along. He throws in there, people are lying and this, that, and the other, but we're doing a whole lot better than we were. So with that said, unless there's somebody else, I'm ready to take a motion on approving the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda items 8A through 8E.
Second.
We have a motion from Member Jordan, a second from Vice Mayor. Roll call vote.
Member Jordan.
Yes.
Mayor Diesel.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nelson.
Yes.
Member Stokel.
Yes.
Member Robinson.
Yes.
Consent agenda passes unanimously. City Manager, please introduce the ordinances.
We'll have the city attorney read the quasi-judicial procedures prior to the introduction, if you would.
Thank you.
During the public hearing portion of the meeting, anyone wishing to speak on a quasi-judicial item must first sign a public hearing agenda card and sign the oath contained thereon. These cards are located on the table on the side of the council chamber. Those speaking in favor of requests will be heard first. Those opposed will be heard second. And those who wish to make a public comment on the item will speak third. The applicant may make a brief rebuttal if necessary. Witnesses may be cross-examined by the applicant, counsel, staff representatives, and other representatives as authorized by counsel. If you have photographs, sketches, or documents you desire for the city council to consider, they must be submitted into evidence and will be retained by the city. Please submit such exhibits to the city clerk. City clerk, of all persons wishing to speak before the city council, sign an oath card. Yes, sir. If there is anyone present who has not signed an oath card that wishes to speak on a quasi-judicial item, please submit a card at this time. City clerk, have all agenda items been properly advertised? Yes. Have any council members visited any of the sites or spoken to any members of the public regarding an item to be reviewed?
No.
Thank you.
At their March 3rd, 2021 meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval as proposed with the condition that the owner restores the pond to the original permitted condition from his property line to the property line and equal compensating storage to offset the fill. That was approved 7-0. An application was submitted by the property owner at 2820 St. Mark's Drive. Dr. Patel's requesting the vacation of a portion of the public utility and drainage easement in order to accommodate the installation of a porch. The drainage report has been received and approved by the city's development engineer, confirming that the proposed vacation will not impact stormwater pond capacity. There are no objections from the utility companies to vacate this 10 feet of the 54 feet easement, and Ms. Busaka is available.
Thank you, City
to answer
Manager. Ms.
questions.
Busaka?
Not unless you have questions.
I see no question. I do see. Member Robinson?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just,
Okay, Vice Mayor Nelson?
I did have a question. Peggy, do you know why the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended the conditions that the owner restore the pond?
They were concerned, well, if you will look in your folder, on page 151, you'll see a drawing, and it includes on the right side a cross-section. And it shows that there's going to be fill that will be needed to stabilize the porch. And so because this is stormwater drainage, the Planning and Zoning Commission wanted to make sure that the capacity that was being filled would also be removed from the other side of the stormwater area. And so if you'll look at this,
I think you lost me.
okay, good. If you'll look at, can you get to page 151?
I'm slowly getting there.
Okay.
That might help.
That answer. Okay, good.
I practiced that at home. I'm very good at it. Are you on page 151? And do you,
She's working.
all right, well, I can
think I'm
be
on one.
forced to draw this on the back of a piece of paper, but this is the story. You've got a drainage area, you see?
Right.
Okay. You're going to fill in this part of the drainage area.
Okay.
So you don't want to impact the capacity.
Right.
So you're going to remove an equal amount on the other side.
Okay.
And that's what the request is from Planning and Zoning, because they don't want the capacity of this drainage area to be reduced.
That was a whole lot easier.
Okay, good.
Okay. So is there any problem with including that condition?
I don't believe so. The applicant may have a different opinion, but they've already gotten a permit from the Water Management District, which essentially does that very thing.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Any other council members, questions, comments, concerns for staff? Then we have the applicant. Would the applicant come up, please?
Yes, Sid Shahab.
Name and address for the record, please.
Sid Chahaya with Consulting Civil Engineers, 3650 Bobby Lane. I'm here actually to answer any questions you may have. This is a simple matter. We're talking about 600 cubic feet of water on one side and 600 cubic feet of water that's going to be compensating for. As the idea of compensating storage is very, very important. It's like if you fill a cup of water, or if you take a cup of water from one place, you have to create another place where you can compensate for that.
Okay.
And basically, this is what we did on this project. And it has gone through the city engineer. It has gone through the water management district. It has been approved. And, I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Council, any questions?
I think I got it.
Thank you.
Okay, I see none, and we'll call you back up as needed.
Thank you, sir.
Call cards?
The last card is Stan Johnston.
Can you tell?
Stan Johnson, 860 Poinsett Avenue. I'm speaking as a professional engineer and also speaking to an engineer who is not much worth crap, and that's Mr. Jordan, just from what he
Stop
said.
clock.
Exactly.
Stop clock. Stop clock. Now, Mr. Jordan made a comment from the dais, and you've come up angry with Mr. Jordan.
Absolutely.
You're going to
worthless.
talk about this subject, this task, or
This
you're
has to
not
do with
going
him.
to. You're not going to call him a piece of crap and say that has something to do
I
with
should
this
be
topic.
truthful.
I'm going to give you another shot here.
Okay.
Start the clock.
All right. Okay. Mr. Shahab said 600 cubic feet compensatory storage. I was showing you this thing. For example, the dam that has the pumps on it. That's there because no compensatory storage. No compensatory storage. Parkland Estates, it says in the calculations, 200 acre feet of water was added to that area when that dam is up there. No compensatory storage for that 200 acre feet. That's thousands of times 600 cubic feet. Mr. Jordan needs to straighten up. He's got a cease and desist order of him right now because of his advertising, false advertising.
Stop the clock. Stop the clock. Now we're going into a whole Mr. Jordan thing.
Yeah.
All right, so you've made your,
He won't talk with me.
you've made your comments concerning this subject.
Okay. All right, there's no compensatory storage for that dam.
Whoa, I'm talking. You've made those comments about no compensatory storage.
I need to tell you where they are.
All right, and once you get done with that you stay on that topic.
That's what I'm doing. Okay, so
Well,
there's no compensatory
one more
storage
exit, and we're
for the
exiting.
dam.
Go, clock.
For the dam that was constructed in about 2002 at Carroll Avenue, or whether it was 2007 or whatever it was. And there's another dam. There's 4 dams there. No compensatory storage for any of them. And here we are talking about a little piddly thing of 600 acre feet, 600 square feet, cubic feet, 600 cubic feet is peanuts. And so we have a number of dams that are designed, doesn't show what they flood, no compensatory storage, no sending to FEMA, no records whatsoever of a review of the 100-year floodplain. St. John's never reviews a 100-year floodplain. This is crazy what you guys are doing. Absolutely stupid. And I want Mr. Jordan to understand is that he's as an engineer, he's not playing fair. He doesn't return my calls. He doesn't respond. Okay, all right, I'll stop that. But you guys are afraid of the truth. The truth is that this stinks, what you guys are doing. Mr. Shahab and so forth and Mr. Patel are going by the rules. You guys are not going by the rules. You're breaking the law all along. That's what these pictures say. These pictures say that the city of Titusville is stupid, stump stupid about what's going on and breaking laws right and left everywhere. And it's no good. And I hope someday you go to court. I hope someday I see Mr. Jordan in court.
All right, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're good. Stop. We're done. All right. Hold on. I always get caught up in a little action there. Are there any other cards? Yes, sir. Y'all feel free to guide me when I get stutter-stepped here. All right. Applicant, is there anything else you'd like to say, or are there any questions for the applicant? I don't see any. No. All right. May I have a motion on this?
Move to approve the request to vacate the easement, vacation application number 5, 2020-2820 St. Mark's Drive with conditions set out by Planning and Zoning.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor, a second by Member Jordan. Roll call vote.
Mayor Diesel,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Member Stokel,
Yes.
Member Robinson,
Yes.
Member Jordan.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. And City Manager, we're
On
moving quickly.
to 10, item 10, no first readings. Item 11, no old
None.
business.
None.
Item
Keep
12,
going.
no new business. Item 13, back to petitions and requests to the public.
Anyone who hasn't spoken yet have a petition or request? I don't see anybody. The applicants are here and you've had your turn. None. We have none.
On to 14, which is the mayor and council's report. Item 14A is the mayor's report.
Council, let me see some buttons here. You got things to say. Member Jordan.
As you all know, Pastor Peter Lord passed away on March 4th, and he was in my opinion, a pastor's pastor. And he was someone that any person, any parishioner, non-parishioner could talk to, and he just had wisdom beyond his years. And he did us all well. We are better people because of Pastor Lord. I want to make a special shout out to what Sarah Stokel put on Facebook about him and marching forth because he died on March 4th. And that really, it touched me what Member Stokel put it on her Facebook page, but it also touched me to know that I had the opportunity to speak with him. He's been in my home. I've broken bread with him. And of course, when someone leaves, you always start thinking about all the times and know just what a wonderful person that we had in our midst and who's now going. A great man left this earth. I can say that without any uncertainty at all. A great man left this earth, and we're all blessed to have been part of his life and him part of our lives. And with that, I would ask that the mayor, if you would work with the secretary to put together a proclamation, basically annotating March 4th as Pastor Peter Lord Day.
We haven't started it yet, but we are, I say we, I'm starting to talk like that, we. I certainly, as soon as I saw that, and Sarah, your Member Stokel, your write-up was tremendous. I added some comments, but there was no reason to try to add much to that. That was awesome, and that's when I thought that's a place for us to add our respect, and that's the way we do it.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. So I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
You have anything else?
That's
Good.
all my report. Thanks.
Vice Mayor Nelson.
I had a request from the Boy Scouts troop here. They have approximately 8 Eagle Scouts. They would like to have them attend a council meeting, and I was hoping not that we could go out and do anything huge or time-consuming, but have them stand up and just recognize them as saying,
Sure.
congratulations.
Generally, we, even if they're not
Yeah.
Eagle Scouts, if there was any Scouts here, I
In
remember
the,
Walt did that.
we have in the past allowed them to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
So they could participate in the meeting in some regard.
Okay. Let me see when they want to come.
I think they've always been recognized and stood up, and every now and then I remember Mayor Johnson asking somebody to speak, and that wasn't their thing. But yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
And I got to tell you something. You know, we talked about George McIntyre
Absolutely.
and what a great job he's done for the hospital. He is one of the scout leaders.
Yes, yes, his son is an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
I don't want to misstate that, but I think he's an Eagle Scout. So that's very nice. Anybody else before I say anything?
Yeah. So you have to get my 25 cents into 2 bits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One, I had an opportunity to work with Pastor Lord in several capacities over the years. And when the Space Center was shutting down, he and us and a group of ministers, we put together the Joseph Fund that helped a lot of individuals that was displaced at the Space Center. And yes, he will be Miss, he was a man full of wisdom, and he could make you laugh as well. So it was my honor to know and to work with him, and anything that we can do to share with all of the citizens of Titusville. Pastor Lord aided and started a lot of ministries in this city, and many do not know about it. It has been a lot of opportunities that was made available to disadvantaged individuals in this city that would not have survived without Pastor Lord. And all of that need to be noted and shared.
Absolutely. Yeah, he became quite the worldwide minister. I remember being in high school and going to the services there, and I don't want to overstate it, but I don't know that there would be a Park Avenue Baptist Church if it wasn't for Peter Lord. And it was just amazing. And then he set his wings out, followed God's lead, and went worldwide. An amazing, amazing person. Member Stokely, you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, I don't know. He was just a very special man to me and my family. I mean, he's been our neighbor for so long. He just served as a mentor to my brothers.
Awesome. What a neighbor.
One of the things that, to what Member Robinson said, there's a lot of things that I feel like nobody even knows that he's done, because he just wasn't that person, and he was always the person that was proactive. You never heard him say, "Oh, let me know if you need anything." He just went and did. And then even when I did that post, somebody I went to school with over at UCF, I don't even know how long ago, probably over 20 years ago, he commented, I'm like, how does he know Peter Lord? Heard him speak in Tallahassee during college, and it still impacted his life to this day. So he's just touched a lot of many, many people, and especially mine and my family's.
Thank you. Thank you all for that. He's certainly an icon that this city will, I think his legacy will live well beyond us. My mayor's report, I have determined, just barely puts anything in there as far as it has to be an official speaking or this, that, but I kind of want to toss a couple things out because I think it's important. I was invited to and attended both the MIMS and Indian River City Little League opening days, and there's a lot of excitement out there with our young adults. I mean, the ones who have Little League kids. And just real exciting. There was some investigation. It appears that MIMS Little League is right close to 300. IRC Little League is closing in on 200. And then our youth soccer league is 600. So if nothing else, I got all those numbers. It's, when people say there's nothing for our youth to do, well, there's 1,000 kids out there on Saturdays doing something. So I thought I'd just toss that out there because it's a real exciting about that. Again, that's just kind of where I like to be and feel that excitement. And they were honored to have me representing the city. It was my honor. Congratulations to the Astronaut Boys basketball team for getting to the Final Four. That just doesn't happen very often. The head coach, Kyle Gilreath, was a student at Titusville when I was there, and his dad played basketball there. And his dad, Larry Gilreath, was the assistant coach there. And they did a heck of a job with a heck of a team. And it was fun to watch them. It's easy now. You can go on all kinds of different things online and follow them around for the tournaments. And so I'm going to recognize them. City manager and I are still speaking, and I've talked to Astronaut. It may be a proclamation. It may simply be a letter. But I think that one of the things I want to do is I want to recognize more school achievements. And when it gets to be the state level like that, I want to do that. I missed one, and I'm glad we're able to make that up. But the astronaut bowling team won the state championship. And be honest with you, that's a big deal to me because maybe there's three of us, but I was one of the guys who at conference meetings, there was no bowling in Cape Coast Conference. And because my family, not me, but my wife's family were big bowlers through the military and in the Northeast, and I saw all the scholarships that could be had for that. I pushed that at every athletic director meeting, and there were some others with me. And we were able, through the bowling center's financing, because we didn't have the money for it, but we have bowling in the Cape Coast Conference now. And what do? The Cape Coast Conference goes out and wins state championships. So proud of Astronaut for those efforts. I also want to add, I spoke to city manager about this. I really feel like some of the things that we do so great in this city or get recognized for, like the #2 in the nation, Palm Bay to Titusville area, and the Milken report. I think that we need to consider whatever the expense is, or at least look into the expense of putting that up on a billboard. People don't know that. They don't. I mean, you know, I thought we got good coverage in the Space Coast Daily, but that's liable. Now, if we don't want to do a billboard, I understand that we have some signs that we can put up and it'll flash something like that. People driving down US 1 say, oh, really? We got that? They may not know what it is. I'll be honest with you, when I first heard it, I wasn't sure what it was. But I know #2 in the nation's good. And then to add to that, just to go with our conversation in the CRA meeting, I would really like to see us, if we're going to stay in this building, I would like to see us get a new electronic sign out front. As you drive down, and, you know, let's face it, that's the first thing you notice about any building. And I think the new sign that the chamber got certainly enhanced the perception of the chamber building. I can tell you, as the facility AP at Titusville, one of the most important things, and it was so hard because our sign was so old, that I worked on was our electronic sign out front. Well, now they've got a new one that can do color pictures and moving and this and that. And we've, you know, we're holding in there, and I know you guys are probably like I was at Titusville, getting this piece and that piece and holding it together, but it's hard to see. I mean, it really is. It looks like it just has the white lights and not a whole lot of color and not a whole lot of flash. But those are the kind of things I'd like to put on there. And I will say this, I must be totally honest, and you guys may recall it, we had some concerns, I'm pointing out here because we sat up here at the end, and the people out there talked about the communication, and they talked about our sign. And if you go down US 1, there's some really nice signs. Ours isn't one of them. So I'm just saying that I'd like to get, first and foremost, I'd like to get the people to know that we're #2 in the nation. That's a big deal. I mean, not Myrtle Beach, you know, not New York City, not LA, Titusville and Palm Bay, #2 in the nation. And we need to make a big deal about that, as big as we possibly can. And if anybody's watching right now, most of those people probably didn't know it either. So that's kind of where I'm at. City manager?
Sure. If council would like for us to look at a new sign, we'll need advisability to do so. But to your point, I think Member Jordan was the chairman of the chamber when that sign was purchased. And the technology today compared to when this sign was in
Absolutely.
place.
That's what I'm saying.
Has changed just a little bit. So if you would like advisability, take a look at it. I know that the two signs, the one that is on Hopkins over by the fire station and this one are connected. So whatever's on this sign is on that sign. So it would probably be replacing two signs versus one.
Again, I think the advisability is important. And again, it's not just me saying that. It's a perfect time to think about that with this #2 in the nation thing. But, and I can tell you another sign I was on the committee to get, which is very noticeable if you go down Highway 50 at all, is the IRC Methodist sign. We just, at that time, we just had one of those things where you put the letters up. And that sign that you see now, and I don't think it's a secret or anything, but I think it's kind of important to kind of note out there. And I don't know, you guys can probably tell me how long that sign been up. You don't get out there much, but 7, 8 years probably now. That was $30,000. And no, but I tell you what, it's a whole different feel about IRC Methodist when you drive by now. You know, so I get the technology is different. So that being said, I would like an advisability, you know, just to hear what it would cost. If it's, again, a feasibility study. Is it even feasible right now? But I'd like to think that we could get some.
Anything's feasible. You know, again, if council would like for us to come back with the the costing. I know when Marcia investigated the sign, it's not that staff intensive in order to do so, but I'll just need a consensus from the group.
Well, I know I've said yes 3 times.
I've said yes.
I do have one question, Mr. Mayor. Since we're
My bad. I normally see that.
Yeah, since we are in the CRA, could the CRA pay for a sign?
I already got rejected in the first meeting.
What? You didn't say no, did you?
I did, I got no the first.
Two on that.
Okay, he's gonna get back to us, which means a yes.
I asked that in the CRA meeting.
No, it's a facility, is what was asked
We're talking about
in-
facility.
in
It's
the-
how you ask questions, Mayor.
Yeah, or what seat you sit in. Thank you, Ms. Stokel.
It has to be in the plan. Plan spells out what we're gonna do with that money. So hopefully it's in that plan.
Okay.
You get back to us.
Of course, I was asking about baffle boxes.
Wow, that's good. I'm gonna go back and watch that video.
Yeah.
Whew. Outside of that, I know you have a few things to tell us.
Sir, no action items for council. We do have the strategic planning workshop, which is phase 2 of what you experienced on the Saturday meeting. That is scheduled for March 11th at 5:30 p.m. in here. And the leadership team will be on the floor with you and on the table, and it will be facilitated by Kristen Baki again.
And how long do you think that would take?
Normally, it's about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Sir. Subject to your questions, that completes my portion, sir.
City Attorney? And Vice Mayor Nelson? Or no?
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Everybody clear?
Yep.
All right, thank you very much. Very productive meeting. Meeting adjourned.